election. Why should we have the right people representing us in the National Assembly? Why should we have the right ideas that represents you in the National Assembly? On Point Blank this Saturday, we shall be taking a look at effective representation for Gokana Kana Federal Constituency in the National Assembly. And we'll be looking at representative democracy. And our guest is the candidate of the Accord Party for Kana Gokana Federal Constituency. He's seated with me in the studio. And I'll be asking him what his visions are, what his idea plans for Kana Gokana Federal Constituencies are. And again, I'll be finding out why does he want to change the present status quo. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. This is Point Blank Saturday. We'll be going on a short break. When I come back, my guest is seated and we'll be meeting him.
Tired of the lies? Tired of the spin? Are you ready to hear the hard-hitting truth in a comprehensive, conservative, and principled fashion? Point Blank on Super FM 93.3 brings you all the news you need to know. Real conversations, real news, and one-on-one interviews with some of the most intriguing names in River State, South Nigeria, and the country today. Unbiased analysis the way you wish still existed.
They're damaging the economy of the country. I'm not bothered about whether federal government is supporting us or not. Because if you cannot protect the lives of your people, then there's no governance.
From the news that dominates the headlines to the important topics below the fold, left, right, and center busts the opinion bubbles and echo chambers with genuine discussion and real talk.
Out of $500 million that President Goodluck Jonathan borrowed for Abuja Kaduna, at the time I was speaking, we were paid over 100 and something million out of the $500 million.
Tune into Point Blank with Shegun Awolabi every Saturdays 8:15 a.m. on Super 93.3 FM. Point Blank, civilized yet provocative.
And thank you once again. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is Point Blank Saturday. Now, don't forget that you can be part of this show. You can listen online. We're live on YouTube, Super FM PH. We're live on Twitter, Super FM 933. On Facebook, it is Super FM 93.3. And also, you can download our application on the Play Store, Super FM Global, and drop your comment on Super FM 93.3. Don't forget, we'll open up the telephone lines, and you can join this conversation on WhatsApp as well. So, effective representation for Kana Gokana Federal Constituency. And my guest is on the ticket of the Accord Party for Kana Gokana Federal Constituency. He says his desire is for his people to thrive and not to survive. And he feels it is time for young, fresh minds who are interested in doing things differently come on board. But the question is, will the old brigades who have held sway in Kana Gokana Federal Constituency for a long time give way to this young mind? And I have with me in the studio, I will be having conversation with Naku Birabi. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Shegun. Thank you for having me on.
You know, I've listened to you for quite some time, and I've watched several interviews, and I know that for the past 15 years, you've been at the corridors of power, well, walking here and there. 7 years, you were in Cross River, yes, working with Senator Liam Moke, the then governor of Cross River State. Before then, you were in Bayelsa.
Yes.
I also know that you were in RSSDA.
Yes.
You were a strategic communication expert. But again, all of this, this is the first time you're doing grassroots politics, isn't it?
Well, I would say it's the first time I'm doing grassroots politics, but it's not the first time I'm interacting with the grassroots. As part of my work with the MDGs, now SDGs, or anyone who knows anything about that sort of program implementation knows that you have to interact with the people who are going to be the beneficiaries of it. And most of those people are in our rural areas, in the grassroots. So this is not new to me in that sense. Community engagement, community activation and participation within the community is not new to me at all. This time around, it just happens to have a political tint to it. But, you know, it's the same thing. It's meeting people, listening to their needs and wanting to address those concerns and those needs.
Again, for you, you are seeking the ticket. You are on the ticket of Accord,
yes,
to represent the people of Kana Gokana Federal Constituency.
Yes.
What exactly does this mean to you?
It means a lot because, from a personal point of view, for me, this candidacy represents a continuation of a legacy that has been left behind, and a legacy which most Ogonis would say is incomplete. I represent the third generation of a family that has a legacy of service to the people. my grandfather, the late Honorable Timothy Naku Paul Birabi, started this whole journey. Many would say that he's the father of modern Ogoni. And the work he did was incomplete because he passed away at the ripe young age of 37. My father, who was also in the House of Reps and was a senator as well, representing Ogoni people, contributed to the advancement of the Ogoni political agency. His activities in Mosop and Kagote, as well as representing the people in the Senate, added to the growing voice for Ogoni independence and emancipation at the time. So far be it for me to say that, you know, I couldn't have escaped it. I couldn't have, no matter where it was bound to happen at some point. And for me, what is driving this is not necessarily the fact that, you know, I need to continue the legacy. It's the passion that I have for the people that I want to serve. For me, what is important is that service delivery. It's being able to connect with the people, listen to their needs, and actually work as hard as you can to fulfill those needs. I think that's what's been missing in our representative democracy thus far. It's all about the party or the title you hold and the position you have, rather than the impact of the work you're doing in the first place. And for me, I say this, I say you don't need to be in office, political office, to make an impact on the lives of the people that you live with. But being in political office amplifies the effect of your impact by almost 1,000-fold, because you are at the decision-making table when decisions are being made, and you have the opportunity to voice the concerns of your people. And that is why I'm seeking this office.
And you know, it's a very important office, and just like you've said, you're coming from a third generation of people whose name is quite known in Ogoni. I mean, your grandfather is a nationalist, and one that many Nigerians and Ogonis would respect so much, and even your father, Senator Birabi. But again, when we look at Kana-Gokana Federal Constituency, this is a very important mandate you are seeking. Let me remind you, the current occupants of that seat in the House of Representatives, that is talking about Honorable Dunamene Robinson Decker, in 2007 to 2011, he was the Deputy Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, and he was also a commissioner designate in 2017, Commissioner for Works, and 2019 he's been in the House of Representatives. This is a very rich political CV.
Yes.
Do you have such?
It is a rich political CV, but how has his own personal CV impacted on his community and his people? You see, there's no point answering all those titles and being in all those offices if you have no impact on the people. What are you doing there if you're not working for the people? I say this, I challenge him to bring his record. Can he list his achievements in each of those positions so that we can critique it and check to see if he's right to go back? I also say this, I don't want to play the man, so let's play the ball. Can he present a legislative report for the last 4 years he's been in that position? I'd like to see it somewhere. I can't see it anywhere. This is part of the representative democracy. Your people are supposed to know what you are doing representing them. I don't see his report for that anywhere. I don't see the impact of him being Deputy Speaker on the people of Kana-Gokana Federal Constituency. Neither do I see the impact of him being Commissioner for Works on the people of Kana-Gokana Federal Constituency. So it's not about the titles you have. Most of these positions, I would say, and I would argue, because obviously I'm a challenger, but I would argue that most of these positions were as a result of political patronage and not necessarily because of any real merit gained from representing the people. So let him bring his record, I will bring my record, and we can see. But thus far, of all the candidates in the field, I'm the only one who has been able to articulate and elucidate what I want to do and my vision for the people. I would like other candidates to come and talk about their vision for the people. Let's publish it widely. Let us critique it. Because the reason why my vision is being critiqued is because I put it out. And I'm happy to stand up and defend my vision for the people. But all these people, he's not the only one, by the way. There are other people in the race who have been commissioners for sports, member of this, chairman of that, you know, even member of the House of Assembly. But what have they got to show for it? It's not just taking the title or taking the office for the sake of being a political office holder. How are you impacting on the lives of the people? And if they can bring their reports, if they can show me their track record, if they can tell me what they've done in those positions, then they are deserving of more. But you don't get to be there just because you've held all these other positions before. times are changing. It's not about what you have done in the past anymore. It's what you can do for the future. And now in our politics and in our democracy, where people are becoming more educated to ask the right questions, our leaders should be able to answer those questions. And the question I ask now, as his constituent, not even as a contender, as his constituent is, please, Honorable, show me what you have done in the last 4 years. Point to something you have done, something tangible that we can see, the impact of that thing. Let's see it. Let's take a look at it. Let's critique it.
You know, I love your energy and love your eloquence, which is evidence of your schooling abroad. But again, you see, Paul Naku Birabi, you are contesting in an area where people have a psyche, and you have a huge job to break that psyche. Again, so tell me, how are you going to go about this? I mean, you're contesting an area where the People's Democratic Party has held sway for a very long time, and there are middlemen who have attached themselves and seen themselves as the power brokers. How are you going to do that?
It's interesting because that is exactly what it is. I mean, you have the electorate, and then you have these middlemen who are the political gatekeepers, and then you have the leaders. Now, you can't blame the electorate for what's going on here. You can't blame the politicians, because the politicians will do whatever we let them get away with. It's the middlemen, the thought formers, the opinion leaders, who should know better, who should be able to educate and empower the electorate to ask the right questions of the politicians. So for me, it's an uphill task. It's more a psychological battle. It's making people understand that they have the agency. You see, it's like a bank loan. I say this everywhere I go. Power is like a loan that we give to these representatives. You say, this is our voice, take our mandate, go and represent us. They get there and they don't use that mandate for our benefit. So we deserve the right to call them back, no matter how big they are. And it's not about parties anymore, because party affiliations in Nigeria mean absolutely nothing. There is no political party in Nigeria that is grounded in any ideological notion whatsoever. It's all about the personal interest of the hierarchy. So when it doesn't work for them in one party, the hierarchy, they move to another party to seek their personal interest. But they want you, the electorate, to stay where you are and not move. That doesn't make any sense to me. And it's the sort of thing where we are in bondage and we are enslaving ourselves politically by not exercising our agency, our political agency. When somebody is not working well, you deserve the right to call them back and send somebody else. And that is why, again, I go back to track record. Show me what you have done. Why are you deserving of this office? Because you've been there? Doesn't mean you're there forever. We are not. It's not a monarchy where you're there and you're there forever. It's democracy. People reserve the right to call you back. People reserve the right to hold you to account. So it doesn't matter how long you've been there or how big the party is. And particularly for Ogoni people. See, I don't know what Ogoni people have gained from the ruling party or even the opposition party that they can stand up and say, okay, this has improved our lives. It's about the quality of the candidate. So if the ruling party had a good quality candidate, I would be saying to Ogoni people, look at that man and consider him. But I don't think the candidate is a good quality candidate because he cannot show me what he's done. I don't think the candidate for the APC is a good quality candidate. And by virtue of that, I don't think the candidate for the SDP is a good quality candidate. I consider myself to be the candidate that has elucidated and articulated his vision for Ogoni. Let those other candidates come on and do the same so that we can critique them on a level playing field. It's not about I've been here before, I've held this position. What have you done?
Fantastic. And Paul, I'll be asking you about your value proposition for the people of Gokana and Kana federal constituencies. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Point Blank Saturday, and I have with me in the studio the candidate of Accord Party who is seeking the ticket to represent the people of Kana, Gokana federal constituency in the House of Representatives in the February 25th election. It's a very important election, and we're talking about representative democracy. He is in his 40s. is a strategic communication expert, is a policy analyst, and he is also skillful in the area of performance management and public sector governance. He is Naku Paul Birabi. He comes from a generation of politicians and nationalists, and he is ready to upturn the status quo. And for him, he said his people must not continue to survive, but it is time for his people to thrive. But how much of the working is he ready to do beyond the talking? And we'll be asking him all of that. Now, don't forget, you can be part of all of our discussion this morning, and the telephone numbers are available 070-5079-1021 and 081-174-31021. You can as well follow us on WhatsApp. Send us a comment on the WhatsApp 090-5948-1021. And don't forget, we're live on Facebook, and send us your comment on Facebook. It is Super 93.3 FM, and on Twitter, Super FM 93.3. So again, we'll throw open the telephone lines for the first set of calls, and so we'll be speaking to the candidates of the Accord, seeking the Ghana Federal Constitution. Perhaps before that, Paul, let me just quickly ask you. Okay, let's take this call now. Sorry.
Okay.
Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Super FM.
Good morning, presenter.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from, please. We lost that call. Okay, so let me just make sure that we set down on that quickly. So your value proposition,
Yes.
you have said that you are not afraid to upturn the status quo.
Yeah.
And you're not afraid to challenge the old brigade of politicians who have held sway in your area. But again, what are you willing to do for the people? What do you want to do?
So my vision for Ogoni is centered on four sectors. One, agriculture. I think that I say this, for so long, we've been obsessed with natural resources that God has given us that are beneath the ground. So oil and gas. I think it's about time that we start thinking about the natural resources that God has given us on the ground. So the vast swathes of arable land, fertile for agricultural productivity. And I think that is where the Ogoni economic opportunities need to pivot towards. Cassava processing plants are a big thing for me because I think Ogoni Gari, everybody in River State knows how fantastic Ogoni Gari is. But how many processing plants do we have for cassava in the state or in the constituency? And that is not rocket science. It's not something that we should even be thinking too much about. If all these people, all these other candidates have held these positions representing my people in that constituency, why haven't they done anything like this? And that goes back to the question of upturning the old brigade. Mm-hmm. The world is moving forward. We can't be dependent on analog politicians in the digital age.
So again, who are these analog politicians? Because you said
I would say
depend on the analog politicians.
we can't be dependent on them. I would say that 70% of the Nigerian population is under the age of 40 or 45, right?
Okay.
Yet those our representatives don't represent that demographic.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we need to actually start thinking about voting for people who can move us forward in the world. The other analogy I use is that when you are moving forward and fighting for your political identity as Ogoni people, you don't send old men to the war front to fight for you.
Now,
You
when you
send
talk
young
about
warriors.
old men, you're talking about old men in terms of age or in terms of experience. Is that what you're saying?
I think what I'm talking about is a generational change. It's a generational change of
But again,
leadership.
a lot of people would still say, even though Paul Birabi has a fine education, Naku Paul Birabi has a fine education, you've worked with those in government, you're still a neophyte when it comes to politics and politicking.
But what is politics and politicking for if it is not representing the people? And how do you represent the people if you're not working for them? So it's not about being a neophyte. It's about being able to work for the people. That is what politics is. Politics is somebody giving you their mandate to go and work for them, and then you taking that mandate and working for them and feeding back to them. You don't have to be new or old in the game to be able to do that. It's as simple as representing your people. So for me, this whole mirage or this enigma that's being created by the previous generation, oh, politics is so difficult, you need to have vast experience. No, you need to come to it with new ideas for the people, because the experience that you have in an unproductive context is not as valuable as an opportunity for new ideas. So you could have had 30 years in a failing, unproductive context, and that experience of failure is not as valuable as 5 years experience in a successful context.
If I be coming at this point, because you see, you will be going to the House of Representatives if
Yes.
you win in the
Yes.
February election.
Yes.
And one of the things you'll be doing there is lawmaking, and of course your job in oversight, representing in terms of attracting product to your people.
Yes.
Again, that requires a lot of politicking.
Yes.
Because you see, for you to even succeed in your legislative work, you must know the act of lobbying.
Yes. So let's go back to the very beginning. In my student days, I was president of my student union in the University of Nottingham.
Okay.
I was also a member of the NEC National Working Committee for our conference that year when I was president. I was also a member of the special committee set up to lobby the UK government about tuition fees at the time. So I went to loads of committee meetings in Westminster. Post my graduation in Nottingham, I worked as an intern in a lobbying firm in Westminster. So lobbying is not new to me. Lobbying in a context where lobbying actually works is also not new to me. Coming back to Nigeria, if you just let me.
Please.
The work I did as a Rivers man in Cross River State also involved working with various MDAs at national and state level with regards to the MDGs or to education, to climate protection. All of those things required lobbying because you have to find a way to bring people together to collaborate even when their interests are diverse. So lobbying is what you need to do to get the job done. And it's not new to me at all.
Paul, you see, lobbying in UK is different from lobbying in Nigeria. And of course, you should know what I mean by that by
Yes.
now. But again, we will do a little bit more about that. Let's just go to the telephones because we have a lot of people trying to join the conversation. You can join the conversation, and I'm speaking to Paul Naku Birabi. He's a politician. He's on the platform of Accord in River State, and he's seeking the ticket to go to the House of Representatives to represent the people of Gokana Federal Constituency. And his vision is that things must be done in the right way and in the new way. And he feels that his people have not enjoyed effective representation so far, and he's ready to provide that representation. So the number is to call 07050791021. I repeat that again, 07050791021 and 08117311021. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank Saturday.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, good morning. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, please. This is Mr. Chigacheke calling from Port Harcourt.
Good. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. I have a question for Mr. Paul Naku Birabi.
Good morning.
Now, yes, thank you very much. Last year, just before the party primaries, your distinguished father, Senator Bennett Berabi, shook the conscience of the nation, not just that of Rivers State, when he came up with a press statement stating that since the creation of Rivers State on the 27th May 1967, no Ogoni man has led this state. As a governor, deputy governor, chief judge, or speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. And his arguments touched the conscience of the nation and Rivers people. Now, you have come up to represent the good people of Gokana and Kana in the House of Representatives
Yes.
come this year election,
Yes.
which is good enough. The feelings on ground in Ogoni land is that of revival,
Yes.
that you are coming into the
Permit
race.
me, sir, please, could you just ask a question, because time will not permit us?
My question now is, in as much as you are talking about good representation, tell us what your opinion is about the industrialization of Ogoni land, and
Okay.
particularly everything boils back to when will the Ogoni man rule River State?
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. So the question is, how will you attract industry to River State? Again, just take another call. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank.
Yeah, well, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
No, this is Ambassador Umomo, all the way from Kanafo.
Kanafo, is that Cross River State?
Akwa Ibom State.
Akwa Ibom State. Thank you for joining
After
us.
Abia State.
Yeah.
Shehu, I want to ask that your guest question. There is a statement that you made there. You said you cannot step down for somebody because of the character and the life that they are not the best. So
Well,
I want
again,
to
I'm not
ask
sure you're quoting him right. Perhaps you're paraphrasing, but go ahead with your question.
you you remember the question that you asked, why you cannot step down to somebody? You said that the quality that you did not see among the quality that can step down before you can step down.
I don't think we've discussed stepping down
I'm
for
not
anybody.
sure we've talked
Yeah.
about stepping down, but again, if you have another question, you may just want to ask the question. Otherwise, we want to thank you so much for joining us. Let's take this call. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ibinabo Mark.
Ibn Abba, good morning.
Good morning, Binabo.
Morning to your guest also. In all honesty,
Sorry, Ibn Abba, your line is muffled. We couldn't make a sense for what you're saying, Ibn Abba. Please, perhaps you need to speak louder, or you move away from where you are to another location.
I was saying with honest.
My apologies, Ibn Abba, but you might just have to call back. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, sir.
This is Emmanuel calling from Shari.
Emmanuel, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Emmanuel.
I'm good to get with you. The question I have for the guest, because this is the season, just like rain season, nobody can predict it. You can fall the day you expect, you can fall the day you did not expect. Because the way politicians, when they come out like this, they will say, I will do, I will not do. At the end of the day, nothing will come out, even if you have the opportunity by having it. So, what do you really see? What makes you to think that all these things you are saying now, you can do them?
Okay. What's
And
the confidence?
How
Okay.
confident you think that you can do all these things? And what makes you to say that the people that we are representing, the place we are coming from, they did not represent where?
Okay.
You be the best to represent where? What makes you think that you can? That's my question.
Fantastic, Emmanuel. Perhaps we should start with that. Again,
Yes,
Emmanuel
yes.
said, what gives you that confidence? Again, how do you feel these people have not performed well? in the
Okay, let me
past?
start with the first question of Emmanuel and then answer his last one afterwards. His first question is, what gives me the confidence to think I can do it? Because I've seen it done before. I spent 7.5 years in the government that showed benevolence and compassion to its people. I know what a compassionate government can do for its people. So take, for example, the issue with education. If you drive around parts of Kana local government, you go to community secondary schools that have no roofs on them. Why does it have to take a leader to be told that his schools have no roofs for him to do that? Who are the school inspectors? And as a House of Rep member, you're going around campaigning and you're seeing these places and it doesn't touch you.
So what do you want him to do?
No, the
He's
point
a
is that
lawmaker.
he must advocate for his people. He's not just a lawmaker, he's an advocate for his people. You are representing a people. You are representing their needs and their views. You must advocate for the people. It doesn't stop, just because you're a federal lawmaker, doesn't stop you from lobbying the state. We're talking about lobbying. Lobby the state government to do the right thing by your people. The other part of it as well, and I go back to my experience in Cross River, and because I learned quite a lot working for Senator Leah Limuke, and I was able to understand how government worked from the inside, and understand that if the government has the will to serve its people, they will be able to achieve a lot for its people. So that's where my confidence comes from. The other aspect of what I want to do is bringing democracy closer to the people. So for the last 4 years, there have been no town hall meetings in the constituency held by the incumbent. What I want to do is set up a citizens' assembly where non-political actors, teachers, nurses, traditional birth attendants, farmers, fishermen, can come together. People who actually have interactions with the real constituents, not political actors and those gatekeepers we spoke about, people who are at the forefront of interacting with the constituents. I want to bring them together to collaborate and converse and discuss as to what the priorities of the constituents are. And then that feeds into a town hall meeting, which would happen quarterly. So you have that sort of interaction with your people one-on-one, which is what you're supposed to be doing as a representative. Because if you're not listening to the people, then whose voices are you supposed to be amplifying in Abuja?
But again, you see, I'm very sorry, but again, this is a conversation. It is more than listening to the people. Have you taken time yourself to ask, what do the people want? Do the people actually need a representative who listens to them, or the people need a representative that can provide empowerment? That's what the people want. Empowerment.
Empowerment in which way? So
that's the question.
That's the question there. That's the question I'm about to answer. So what do you gain? What do the people gain from their representative coming back at Christmas to share rice that's going to be finished before New Year? What do the people gain when you come back and you give 10 people in the constituency laptops? 10 people. What do they gain? For me, when the tide comes in, all the boats are lifted up, right? So you're not, how do you, I was at a youth interactive session on Monday, and they were talking about how are you personally going to assist with bursaries? And I said the whole point of being your representative is to be able to improve the system so it works for everyone. Otherwise, how do you pick the individuals you want to help? Why is one individual more deserving than others? And that is the crux of the matter. The criteria for selecting is party loyalty. So they want to keep you loyal. So they give you these handouts. So you are beholden to them. It's an enslavement, which our people have to wake up from. The system is faulty and the system has to change. When the system is improved, everyone benefits. If we keep this current system now, we will have only a select few that benefit based on loyalty to the individual and loyalty to the party. And that cannot be a sustainable political system that works for everyone. It's a system that works for the few.
You've talked about the system. It takes so much to change the system. You don't have the luxury.
But it starts with one step. And you have to take that step. You have to be brave. This vision is a brave new vision. It takes one person to take one step to show a bit of change for people to start to believe in. So that's the answer to his first question. The second question is, I never said I was better than everyone else. I just said I believe I present a better vision than everyone else because no one has presented a vision thus far. So by default, my vision is the only vision to be discussed, and it's better than anything else that's out there. I want to see everybody else's track record. Show us what you've done in the past. It's like the parable of the talents. If you haven't been able to use what you've been given, why should we give you any more? Show us what you've done. Bring your track record. Let's see. Let's scrutinize. And then let's make an informed decision as to whether we send you forward. Otherwise, let's try something new. You cannot achieve a different outcome by doing the same thing over and over again. I would rather take a gamble, a safe bet, on trying something new that could work rather than sticking to what is not working now.
Fantastic. I'm speaking to Naku Paul Birabi. He is contesting on the platform of Accord to the Kana-Gokana Federal and represent the people of Kana-Gokana in the House of Representatives in the February 25th election. And I'm asking him series of questions, his value proposition, why he thinks he is the most qualified candidate, and why he thinks the people will choose him above those the people have known for a very long time. And we've been having this conversation. Now, don't forget, you can be part of all of this conversation. Share your comments with us on Facebook, on Twitter, and of course, you can also send us a WhatsApp comment. Now, Paul, I'll be asking you, you've said that the biggest challenge in Kana-Gokana Federal Constituency is that of poor leadership, true representative leadership.
Yeah.
I'll be asking you to talk to us more about that. But quickly, let me come to the Facebook. We have comments coming in on the Facebook. And this is from Nali, I believe so. Okay, Noali Befi. Good morning, Shegun, to your guests in the studio. These are the type of politicians we need in Ogoni, not people that will come and tell us that our people are unripe to contest for election. We need new faces and new ideas. I wish the guests in the studio the best. He has my vote.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
And this is from Thank God Atuegbu said, Shegun, top of the morning, and all those mushroom political parties in Rivers State should tell Rivers people what they have attracted to Rivers State that will convince Rivers people to vote them. Governor Nyesom Wike's developmental stride across the 23 local government area will pave the way for Sim Fubara and all PDP candidates contesting for various positions to win the forthcoming general election in Rivers State. And that's your view, thank God. And Chile Edwin, Rivers State has very bright and intelligent personality, just like the guest in the studio. But just that, an accident happened to the state for these 8 years now running. I said, kudos to the guest in the studio. Well, again, I don't know what you mean by the accident that happened to the state. But let me take this. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Shegun and your guest. It's Ibn Abu Max. I call back.
Ibn Abu, good morning.
Good morning, Benabo. Thank you for calling
I'm a
back.
River son. I'm listening to your guest. I'm inspired, in all honesty, that we have bright minds like this who are seeking representative positions. But I'm also an environmentalist, and I want to know if the people of Kana and Gukana constituency give you their votes as you are asking from them. One thing that has lingered for so long, it's almost synonymous with the Ogoni geography, has to do with the environment.
Yes.
You have clear terms on how you intend to bring solution with respect to the damages to the environment that the Ogoni people have suffered for all these years. I grew up hearing that, and it's still a pending issue. And then also, what do you have in mind with respect to empowerment and the education of your people? I wish you all the best, and I must be honest. One last question. You succeed into the House of Assembly.
Representatives, House of Representatives.
House of Representatives.
Yes.
I beg your pardon, House of Representatives. The Accord Party, you will be amongst the minority.
Yes.
Don't you think that is going to be, a hindrance for you accomplishing these big visions that you have put forward before your people? And I look forward to meeting you more in more town hall meetings, because yours is the kind of mind that we need on deck right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your contribution. And let's take this one. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Shegu Owolabi.
Good morning,
and
sir.
Happy weekend.
Same to you.
Yeah, my name is Comrade Leighton Barry Sunday, the president, time and tone for River Southeast.
Fantastic. Good
Yeah,
morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Buri.
Good morning.
Yeah. Well, I must commend your guest in the studio. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, there is one word I took from him. And he made mention of how a National Assembly member can reflect back to his state's House of Assembly when there are laws that are hazardous to his people. How you can reflect on the State House of Assembly and they can amend laws that is favorable. That is how it's supposed to be.
That,
and I want to say that the problem we are having,
Okay.
the problem we are having in this present time is that those who went out there to represent us do not have the mandate of the people, because the votes that made them to be there were not from the people. And so when they go there, you can imagine that a House of Assembly member, National House of Assembly member,
to round it up
when they are making an important law, he will go outside to go and smoke and be telling people, be discouraging people that Guni people are not right for governorship. Is that
I'm not sure the scenario you
representation
I'm not sure
we
the
are supposed to
scenario you
have at this
painted is
time?
from
No,
Ogoni.
but hold on. I think he's onto something here. I think he's onto
Listen
something
to
here.
me.
Yes.
The important thing we need to get from some of these representatives is what they bring back to the people.
Yes.
What they sell back to the people.
Yes.
Out of these years, what have we actually achieved from this current representative now?
All right, fantastic.
And I am
Comrade
saying
Sunday
that
Letambari,
with,
I need to let you go because I need to take another caller. But again, you've raised a very important point, which you will come back to. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank Saturday.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, there is another sound at the background of your voice. Could you just move away so as we can have a clearer conversation?
Okay. I want to speak with Shegun Owolabi.
Yes, okay. Well, we're live on radio. You're speaking to Shegun Owolabi live on radio. Maybe, let's just leave that now. because there is a distraction. But again, the last caller, coming, let embarrass on it. And I don't know where this is coming from. Twice now we've had caller to say somebody is saying that Ogoni is not ripe for governorship. I don't have an idea.
Well, you see, the thing is, I'm going to start with the point I took from his comments, which is that we need representatives who are responsible to us. You see, this thing he said about all those our leaders not being elected by us, they've been selected and imposed on us by other people. That is, again, another failing or another illness or sickness of this party system. So when the party reigns supreme, they can pick anyone for you and expect you to accept it. Which is why now what I'm saying is that we must select credible candidates, not parties, candidates. Because when you select a candidate, that candidate is accountable and answerable to you. When you select a party and that party imposes their candidate on you, they can hide under the cloak of party, which is what the other caller was saying about, the PDP has done well across the state. But it may have done well in some parts of the state. Let me just finish this point. It may have done well in certain parts of the state, but in Kana-Gokana, our representation is lacking, is deficient, as the last caller said.
That's your view.
No, as the view of the caller as well.
A lot of people may not agree with that view of yours.
No, but it's fundamental, because if the people haven't elected who is representing them, how do they hold them accountable? And that is the point that the comrade from Bori was talking about. How do we hold these leaders who are not selected by us? We didn't elect them.
So the question is, how did they emerge?
Well, that's a good question. And hopefully, this new electoral act should correct all those, how will I put it now, idiosyncrasies.
Well, I hope we'll get to that, because we just have about 8 minutes more, and I'm just going to take this call. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank Saturday. Hello? Are you there? Good morning.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I should hang on.
Yes, what's your name, sir? Let's have you live. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Swagibadi.
Swagibadi. Swagibadi, yes.
Yeah.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
Swagibadi.
Good morning, yes. I wanted to call into the program so that I can throw some questions.
Yes, you're live into the program. Go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so...
And by the way, sorry, Swaggy, where are you listening from? Are you listening in Port Harcourt or you're in Abuja? Where are you listening from?
I'm at Abuja right
in
now.
Abuja, very well. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Yeah, Naku.
Brother.
I want to thank you for the good job you're doing there. What I want to say is very simple. That you've spoken well. I'm at Abuja. I'm at Abuja.
Yes, go ahead, please. We can hear. I know you're listening through the app. Go ahead.
Yes. What I want to say is that, and it's very simple and brief, that the kind of representation we need, is being, exemplified by Naku, who is in your studio right now. He spoke very well. He talked about town hall meetings and how to amplify the wishes of the people at Abuja. I feel that the people of Gokana and Kana local governments, which make up the constituency, which is going to represent, and we believe that by God's grace, he should win the election.
Amen.
Should not fail. They should not fail this time to vote Naku, because we don't want people who pretend that they are representing the people when actually they are thugs dressed in suits and ties. You understand? We need people who are intelligent. You can listen to Naku and you can find out that this is a man who has the need of the people at heart, who has the intelligence to present the problems of the people, and of course, he feels the pulse of the people. So I am calling on the Gokana people, the Kana people, to ensure that they are not fooled by these past politicians who for 24 years have derailed, and vote Naku for the House of Reps. I also go further to say that the Accord Party affords the platform for the good governance that we need in Rivers State, and as well, they should vote Dumololo Briggs. Of course, I have been I'm on the ballot for the Senate, but I have not canvassed enough, maybe because of my financial state right now. But what I will say is that people should not allow themselves to be used wrongly. Go out there and vote Naku so that we can represent Gokana
fantastic.
and Kana properly.
Swaggy I thank you so much for calling
Thank you
us
so
all the
much.
way from
Thank you so
Abuja.
much.
And Swaggy is listening through the app, and actually they have this a nap time of about 2 or 3 seconds.
Right, okay.
And that's the reason why you have the slowness. But again, thank you so much, Swaggy. But it raised a very important, which he said concerning him. He said he doesn't have the financial. That's the reason why he's not been campaigning as much as he should. Naku Paul Birabi, do you have the money?
You see, I am a self-funded candidate. I have a consultancy in Abuja that I work with. I have partners in Abuja, and we work with government. So this thing you're talking about lobbying, I'm still a lobbyist, quote unquote, till now. But I took a break from that because I felt that this is something I needed to do, and I have poured everything I have into this. Every single thing, not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. My whole being is into this. And I don't know why it is, but I think it is a spirit. It is a spirit that I feel has been haunting me to come back to do this. It's a spirit that I feel has been haunting me to finish something that my namesake and my grandfather started. And for all the people that would that say, you're a neophyte or you haven't been here before, this really, really myopic language on ripe politician. You haven't matured or you're whatever. We don't know who you are. I say this to them. I say in 20 years' time, if the grandson of the late great Ken Sarura comes back from London and he spent 15 years in and around government as I do, and he runs his own consultancy firm as I do, and he decides that he wants to continue the legacy of his grandfather as I am trying to do now, will Ogoni people really stand up and say we are not going to vote for him? Because let me finish my point. Let me finish my point, Shegun. Will Ogoni people really stand up and say to him, we are not going to vote for you because you're in the wrong party? Will Ogoni people really stand up and say to him, well, we know your grandfather, but we don't know you, so we are not going to give you our vote? I'm not saying it's an entitlement, but I'm saying that when you have an individual who represents a family legacy of service to his people and is qualified to run, surely we have to give that person a chance.
Paul, I wish we would continue with this conversation, but time will not allow us to go further because we need to go into the next segment of this show, which is coming up in another 3 minutes. But again, this is what I have to say. I have spoken to your dad, Senator Birabi, and again, I've read so much about your grandfather. You have the name, and again, you have the intelligence, obviously. But again, politics is different from what you are saying, and sometimes you need to play dirty. Are you ready to play dirty?
I'm ready to do what I can do for my people. And politics needs to change. If it's dirty, let's clean it up. Why are we accepting dirt? If a room is filthy, you clean it. Let's start cleaning it up. Let's stop accepting mediocrity because you have to play dirty. Let's go in there and clean it up. And the way you do that is exercising your agency. Let me tell you, these people in political power, right, they stay in there because they make you scared to do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Go out and vote. When you vote, things will change.
Paul, I wish I would have another conversation with you before February 25th, and we would definitely organize that.
Thank you very much.
So
I'll be very happy to come back.
Because there's a whole lot of things I wish we could talk about. I wish we talk about the Electoral Act. I wish we could talk about INEC. I wish to talk about issues disenfranchising the people, appearing to disenfranchise the people, and your confidence on this structure. I wish we could talk about that. But again, we'll fix another appointment.
Thank you very much. I'll be happy to come back.
And I've been speaking to the candidate of Accord, who was seeking the mandate of the people of Kana Federal Constituency to represent them in the 2023 election. Paul Naku Birabi. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Shegun.
Stay with us. Point Blank will be back. And when we come back, we'll be speaking to another fantastic gentleman. And this time around, he is seeking to become the governor of River State. And his focus is to tackle poverty, create employment opportunity. And I'm talking about Dr. Lacing Borobosi. And that will come up after this break.